Hello, I'm Mayor Kathy Carlat. Thanks for joining me for another edition of Peoria Pulse. Our great city is still very young, even by Arizona standards. Even though we have seen explosive growth over the past couple of decades, we are still only halfway built out. Peoria still has a lot of growth yet to happen. Right now, we are at a critical juncture in our city's history, and now is the time to carefully plan and prepare for this growth. But I also believe that citizens should be at the helm of planning what we are going to look like as a city in the future and what our quality of life will be. I'm joined today by former Peoria Mayor John Keegan. Mayor Keegan has served in both the U.S. Army and the U.S. Navy, where he retired with the rank of Commander USN. He is also a retired judge in the Justice Court in Maricopa County. Mayor Keegan was elected and served as Peoria Mayor from 1997 to 2007, and prior to that, he was a member of the Arizona House of Representatives. I had the pleasure of serving my first 2 years on City Council with him as mayor. And Mayor Keegan is still involved and cares very much about the future of this city. And now he is chairman of the newly created Citizens Committee on Growth and Quality of Life. That is a very long and distinguished resume, Mayor Keegan. So happy to have you here. Thanks for joining me today.
Well, thank you. It makes me sound like I can't hold steady employment, but it's a great honor to be here and to be on the committee to deal with the future of our community.
Well, it is our good fortune that you said yes. And so let's go back a little ways if we can. I'd like you to tell me, just give me a picture of what the city was like 19 years ago when you served as mayor and how all of that growth impacted the city.
Well, for one thing, the population was about half of what it is now. It was, I think it was about 72,000 when I became mayor. Many of the river crossings, so the Agua Fria, the New River, even Skunk Creek, had just shortly before that did not have bridges. They were just low water crossings where you were stranded every time it rained. There was very little development north of Bell Road other than Westbrook Village, and Westbrook Village was still being built out at that time. So the shape of Peoria was much different. Just a few years before, farmers were still driving sheep down Thunderbird Road to put them on rail cars. So it had changed very quickly in the few years before that. It was right on the cusp. I always said that it was transitioning from being the biggest small town to the smallest big city in Arizona. And it was an opportunity to really shape the future of the community at that time to where we are now.
So it was really about infrastructure then. It sounds to me like the bridges, and you were responsible, I know, for the Butler Water Reclamation Facility, the water treatment plant. And that is a huge game changer for the city of Peoria. So talk to me a little bit about those kinds of changes.
One of the things that was elemental to the future of the community and crucial at the time was we only had one source of drinking water, and that was from wells. And so we put together a program to where we are now, where we have 5 sources of water. We have wells, we have SRP water, we have CAP water, we have water reclamation, and we also have groundwater storage. So that went a long way to begin to secure the future so that we could come up with strong planning tools. We could figure out what our future population was going to be because we knew that we had the water resources to support it.
Yeah, that was something that we are immensely thankful for now. Your planning made all the difference in the city that we've been able to grow to this point. I mean, it's incredible that under your leadership we were able to be so strong and secure today. I mean, it is something that really I thank you for, and I know that the citizens who live here thank you for. So now we are at a point where we are at 164,000 people, and the people who live here have been able to enjoy a a really above standard quality of life. So we've got tremendous public safety, we've got a low crime rate, we've got great parks and trails, and so now we're moving on to the next phase of that. So let's talk a little bit about what that next phase might look like based on your experience.
I think we've got two great challenges. First of all, we have some tremendous resources in the northern part of the community. We have open space, we have some amazing desert vistas, we have Lake Pleasant, we have the water courses of the New River and the Agua Fria, which are just diamonds in the rough as far as community amenities. And then at the same time, we have the challenge that the older, more traditional portions of our community, we need to make sure that they experience the benefit of the growth and the amenities that the rest of the community has. So we need to make sure that their neighborhoods receive the due attention as far as parks, recreational activities, landscape improvements, things like that, while we are preserving the natural environment in the northern part of the community.
Yeah, that is one of the challenges of having a city that is so linear and really so large. I mean, we're almost 200 square miles, which is, you know, a little bit difficult to manage. So we've been really great at growing in an organized fashion, starting from the smaller areas in the southern portion of the city and then going north very, very systematically. But now as we grow north, we are at the areas where we've got a lot of topography, the beautiful mountains in the open space, and places where there are archaeological ruins and our mining history and those kinds of things. Now growth is impeding on those areas. So we do have those two challenges, maintaining the older part and deciding how we're going to be in the future with that newer part. So here you are as the chair of the Citizens Committee who is going to deal with those kinds of issues. Talk to me about some of those issues and how you see that committee making a difference.
Well, we had our first committee meeting last week, and it was interesting to hear the perspective of the newly appointed members and what their interests were on the committee. One of the things that struck me was the heritage of Peoria has been largely agricultural, and we have some tremendous agricultural artifacts at our museum, and largely the community has been the development of what had been farms, largely cotton farms, and before that even rose farms. Yeah. But now, in the northern area, we're embracing a heritage of, as you'd mentioned, Native American archaeological sites, of mining industry. So it's from a historical standpoint, we're kind of coming up with a new history almost, and several of our members are very interested in preserving that. A lot of people are also very interested in issues of hiking trails, equestrian trails, the open space to make sure that we don't despoil the natural environment as we continue to grow.
Yeah, absolutely. There is a really diverse group of citizens from all over the city on your committee, and I think that is going to enhance the richness of the result of this. We want to make sure, as I think everybody on your committee does, that we maintain access to all of these open lands for all of our citizens in perpetuity. I mean, that's, I think, critical. Nobody wants to see any of that go away. It belongs to the citizens. So are you going to deal with individual issues one at a time? Are you going to talk about the open space, talk about the maintenance of the parks in the southern portion of, how are you going to move forward?
We're going to take the topics individually of open space, improving existing parks and recreational facilities, and also the public safety aspect, which is fundamental to quality of life. Yeah. we're also going to move the meetings around the city so that they're not all based here in the City Hall complex, but there's an opportunity to, both for the committee members to see parts of the community they might not otherwise go to, and also for the members of the public who might not have an occasion to come to City Hall, but they do have an opportunity to go to a public safety building that's close to where they are, or the stadium, or one of the other city facilities. So it's convenient for them, and it's also instructive for the members of the community.
Well, and I understand that you're going to be able to take some people on some aerial tours.
We are.
Next week.
We've arranged with for helicopter tours for members of the committee. We had actually 26 years ago, Mayor Ron Travers had appointed me to a committee, a similar committee. It was called the Peoria 2020 Committee. We were looking at what we thought Peoria would look like 30 years out in the year 2020.
How interesting.
And one of the things that we did is we had a helicopter tour, and it was amazing how instructive that was, to get a feel for where the water courses were, where the mountains were, where the road networks were, where the community infrastructure such as schools and fire stations and commercial centers were. And it really gave the committee an opportunity to focus on the community as a whole, as opposed to maybe what their individual experience had been.
So just get a whole different viewpoint
Yes.
of everything. Yeah, I think that there might be people on the committee who have never seen some of the vastness of the open space, and there also might be people who have never seen the length and breadth of our whole city, and it gives just a whole different viewpoint that might end up with a different result.
Absolutely.
In the end, yeah. Well, so with regards to public safety, I'm very interested in public safety because I know that security that we now enjoy in our city, the safeness that we feel as we walk on our streets at night, and the low crime rate that we enjoy is a big, big part of why a lot of people live here. And I know that it's a part of what I love about the city of Peoria. It's that small town feel. So how are you going to be able to deal with the growth and public safety and making sure that we can retain that small town feel?
Well, we've got meetings scheduled that with both the police department and the fire department to look at innovative ways that they can plan for the safety of our community, ways that we can employ technology, ways that we can employ excuse me, that we can bring together both the existing departments of public safety and future technologies to make sure that we remain one of the safest communities in the metropolitan area.
Yeah, good. That's a really big deal. And I know that there's a lot of people on the committee who really care. That's their area of expertise is public safety. So I think that we're in really good hands, not only with you guiding us, which is a really big deal, but with all of the vast makeup of the citizens that we have there from every area of the city with every area of expertise. We have a lot of wisdom in this city. Fortunately for me, we have a lot of people that we can call on who are experts and have knowledge that, you know, it's one of the things that makes up the unique character of the city of Peoria that we need to maintain. So speaking of that, how are we going to get other citizens involved in making sure that their voices are heard in your committee?
Well, first of all, I want to make sure that everybody understands that the public is invited to all of our meetings. The meetings will be posted on the city's website. I'm sure they'll be publicized through print media. And at every meeting, they're invited to attend and to watch. They'll also be asked if they would like to speak to the committee. Now, under our open meeting law, we have limited ability to respond specifically to suggestions or requests at the meeting, but it will provide information that can be incorporated into future meetings. So I don't want anybody to think that their voice is not being heard. And also by moving it around the community, we'll have an opportunity to, so people don't have to drive from Vistancia to the City Hall complex or vice versa in order to be able to participate.
Yeah, good. Good. I'm really glad to hear that, because I know that there's a lot of groups, specific kinds of groups out there that use our parks and trails, such as mountain bikers, biking clubs, ATVs, you know, those kinds of things. So it would be great if those groups could come, and those organizations, as well as individual people, equestrians, anyone who's got any kind of interest in making sure that they're involved. People who have kids in Little League, that's a really big deal. Lighted ball fields, you know, we need a lot more of those in our city. So we want to make sure that everyone comes to these meetings, that they know that they are open to the public and they can come and have their voice heard.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that's really important. So is there anything else that you want to tell me or to tell any of our Channel 11 viewers about the committee, about the times, about, you know, anything that you want to say?
Well, mainly I want to make sure that everybody understands. They are invited. We actively want them to participate. We want them to talk to members within their community who are on the committee, and those names are available on the website as well. This is an opportunity to begin to shape what the next 20 years probably are of Peoria's future will look like, and to preserve a lot of that well into the future. So I want people to feel comfortable that they can actively participate, and that the committee is going to be responsive, and in turn hopefully give our best advice to the council, who ultimately has to make the decision on where we go from here. Right,
so that's the end goal, isn't it, for the committee to come up with recommendations and present those to the city council?
Yes, our role is strictly advisory. You sit in the big chair now, and you and the members of the council, hopefully we can give you the tools and that you can use to make those decisions.
Well, I am without a doubt that you will be able to give us the tools that we need to make those decisions. So I can't thank you enough for being here with me today. I wanted to make sure that everybody understood who you were and what you were doing and how important it is to our city in the future. And one of these days you and I are going to have to sit down and talk about your 2020 goals and see where we are. Did you predict it right? I would love to know.
Some of them happened, some of them didn't, but it was a great exercise.
Well, I will say again, thank you for the stability that you gave to the city of Peoria, because we are enjoying it right now with the infrastructure, the surety of our water supply, all of the bridges, all of the wonderful transportation system that we have in place. I know that happened during your tenure, or at least it was started during your tenure, and it is, it's a phenomenal city that we live in. And thank you for your part in putting that city together. It's great.
Well, thank you. It's great to be here, and it's great to have this opportunity to serve the community again.
Thank you. Check out peoriaaz.gov or find me on Facebook or Twitter for information about upcoming meetings. I hope you'll take the opportunity to attend the meetings and give them your ideas. Join me next time on Peoria Pulse for a closer look at issues facing our city. You can find all the episodes online or every weekday at 7 a.m. and 3 p.m. here on Channel 11.